right, guys, Fusion fam, what's going on?
What's going on?
We have a very special guest. I have an introduction ready for you. Can I do it?
Yeah.
Okay, we have a voice actor with over 250 acting credits. I'm gonna read off some of your greats.
Okay.
Charmy from Black Clover, one of my favorites. Power from Chainsaw Man. Young Yuri from Spy Family. Kikyo Kushida from Clash of the Elite, which we gotta talk about that later, 'cause I just started watching that and wow.
Man.
Zeno from Dragonball Super. And you're also in Borderlands as well. And One Piece in My Hero Academia. You are also an artist. And I just found out a singer?
Yeah.
Wow, yeah. You've been hiding that from us?
I wasn't hiding it.
Yeah, Introduce yourself to the people.
Hello, my name is Sarah Wiedenheft. I'm a voice actor, an artist, and also a singer.
Yeah.
And a singer. There you go.
And if you don't know who we are, I'm Chad.
And I'm Jeremy.
And together this podcast, this tag team, this collective, we are Fusion-Haa. All right. So first off, thank you for doing this with us.
Yes.
We really appreciate
Absolutely.
it. This has been a long time coming. We've been putting in some work to get this to happen, and we're finally here. So thank you for your time.
Sorry.
All right. Oh, that's. We need the ropes. We need the ropes.
Yeah, we need the ropes.
All right, Sarah. So could you tell us, like, were there any moments, like in your childhood or anything that kind of led you to what you're doing now, being a voice actor, an artist, or a singer?
Actress, bro. Actress.
I'm sorry.
That doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Actress, whatever.
Trying to be politically correct. But it's your time to shine. I apologize.
It's all right. I did a lot of make-believe when I was a kid. I pretended I was characters like all the time, and sometimes I would kick my friends out of it because they were ruining my story. I just been doing that for a very, very long time. And also I started drawing when I was around like 9 years old, and I showed my mom the picture, and she was like, "Oh, that looks really nice." And I'm like, "Oh, I like that." And I've been chasing that high ever since.
Oh, okay.
And singing, I've always loved doing it, and I'd always been in choir. And it was around like high school, I started getting into like every single one, like honors choir, show choir, musicals, and just regular theater.
So do you have like a particular genre or anything that you like to sing?
Well, dang.
Yeah.
Well, dang.
Sorry, I always have to fend off these men.
Yeah. Beating them off with a stick, huh?
With a stick. God dang. We had another big name in the game, y'all see?
Man. So do you have like a particular like genre or anything that you like to sing?
I can't really think of any. My favorite thing to do is harmonize.
Harmonize?
So like things that are like more like harmonizable, I'll find myself with that. There's like a lot of like old kind of like love songs that are good for that too.
Oh, okay.
What about the the art side of drawing and everything like that? Like when did you start doing that?
I was around 9 years old when I started to draw like mostly anime. Sailor Moon was my first thing, so I started doing that.
So you already beat me to the question like, so what's your favorite anime?
Respect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who's your favorite Sailor Scout?
There you go.
It was Sailor Moon.
Okay.
I related to her the most.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Why is that?
Well, because I really love to sleep. I also am chronically late to like everything. And I also like am like super goofy and tend to also not like monsters, but like if any of my friends are like ever needed help, as much as I don't want to, I know I would be the first person to fight.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Respect. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So, at 19, you decided to become a voice actor, correct? Or were you?
It was around there, yeah.
Around there? Okay. So, what led you to want to do that?
Because I've already did a bunch of other entertainment things. I realized that like animation and cartoons and stuff were things that I really enjoyed. And I was like, oh wait, that's another form of acting, and I want to start dabbling in it. So I started kind of doing it at home roughly with, mattress toppers in the closet, potato mics. I think I eventually upgraded to something that was better, but I can't remember the name of it for the life of me. But yeah, I started doing stuff at home, and then I realized I was like 40 minutes away from Funimation, which is now Crunchyroll at the time, and they had open auditions, and I I just shot them an email showing them like, hey, this is all my acting experience. This is, I've done like musicals, theater, blah blah blah, acting 1 and 2 in college, and then 8 months later, after the 5 phases of grief, they emailed me back and then said, hey, we're having them. Do you want it? I'm like, yes, God, yes. I mean, like, sure, that's all right.
8 months is a long time away. That's a long time away. You
I
just sitting there.
forgot about it. I was like, guys. I came in for an audition, and Jerry Jewell happened to be the one doing it at the time.
Okay.
And he was really sweet. I was so nervous. This was my first time doing that in person, and my arms and legs were all al dente noodles. And I was like, I couldn't breathe. He's like, go sit down, you just collect yourself, go back in when you're ready. And I did. I'm like, done. I'm like, shoo, whew. And then they called me back 2 weeks later to do a bit part, and I just started making my way up through there. And I was like, oh my God, I like this so much.
Okay. What was the first thing you auditioned for?
I think it was Senran Kagura. I can't remember which one specifically. But I didn't come in for that one. I think I came in for a certain scientific magical index. I think that's what it was. I think I was like, I have to wait, railgun or index?
It's over 250 acting credits. It starts to run together, huh?
Yeah.
So who's your favorite anime character that you like to play?
Hard to say. Probably between Power and Toru, though. But I'll find anybody for my other roles. I'm ready.
Man, I
almost thought I had to for Charmy in Black Clover movie. I was like, I cannot let them have her.
Yeah, no,
that's my child.
And you know what? When I watched it, I was like, I was listening for your voice. I'm like, she's gonna be in there. She has to be there. So, what was the audition process like for auditioning for Power?
It felt intense, just because like I knew that there's gonna be a lot of people auditioning for it, and there wasn't a whole lot that I knew about the show. Actually, the first time that I heard about it, I thought it was like an isekai. Turns out that's not the case at all, it's a lot better actually. But I ended up having to like do a little bit of research because I had no idea what these characters were, but I knew it was something that I would definitely need to do some research for. So I looked at the first two mangas where she's introduced. I just did like a one-shot for Makima because I'm like, I feel like she doesn't have like too much going on from what I saw in there. Like she seemed just like pretty level-headed, so like I didn't worry about that. The Power one, I was like, I know, I had to be right? Like I didn't even know that much. I didn't read that far into it, but for Power, I was like, I'm not really sure where to go with it. I feel like she's insane. My audition for her was insane too, because I was like, I feel like she's like really like psychotic, and I was correct, and like, but after like doing like I think like it was probably 5 takes or so, I listened to the trailer and I was like, okay, I don't know what I'm worried about. I feel like I'm in the right ballpark here. I'm like, just gonna send it off, just get rid of it, going away.
Okay, so I have to ask you. So I just started watching The Classroom of the Elite. You seem so nice, so sweet.
Thank you.
So innocent. But Kushida, I was watching. I'm like, oh, she's so nice. Okay, I kind of get this. And she had the one part where she's just out when she thinks nobody's around, and she just started going crazy. Like it's kind of like imagine me, like I'm a good guy, all nice and innocent, and I leave you guys. I just start cussing everybody out. Like I hate you all. I hope you die. Like blah blah blah. Like, so what led you to want to play her? Because that was such a crazy contrast.
It's not so much about wanting as so much as they cast me, and I was like, okay, sure, let's do this thing. And then she's like, I just want you to be like super sweet, high pitched, you know, like just very, very, very nice. I'm like, okay, you got it. And then I get to that point, I was like, oh no. But like basically, I was playing her as like somebody that is just kind of irritating. Like
she's so nice that it's irritating.
It's like a, what do you call it? There's like an overwhelming amount of positivity. But I can't remember the word for it. It's like, I think it's like toxic positivity or something like that. Yeah, like I was going for that. I remember every time I went in for it, like the director would be like, ugh, God, I hate her so much. All right, next line. You're doing great.
Yeah, that's how it is. Like, I've been watching, I'm like, especially since I've seen that part, I'm like, come on, girl, you just be yourself. Be yourself.
I know.
She's crazy.
I've noticed too, I see a lot of girls, like so many different conventions. It's just like Power. How does that make you feel to see all these like young girls and some guys even dressed as Power come to you like, oh my God, I'm getting married. Like, how does that make you feel?
Oh, it makes me so excited. Like,
really?
Yeah, like it's mind blowing. Like I'm like, what? I'm connected to this character, and I see it everywhere. And I just like every time I see one, I'm like, Power.
Yeah, right.
I see one right now.
And that's why I was like, I wonder.
Yeah.
Like, that's my character. Yeah.
That's my girl. That's my girl. That's my baby. That's my girl.
My voice actor. That's so cool,
Yeah,
man.
it makes me happy.
Okay, so I have one more voice actor here to actually about to ask you some more stuff.
Okay.
So to go to the other part of that question, do you find that you have any of the similarities to any of your characters?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially like Charmy. I actually back in the day when I was voicing her, I always brought in like armful of snacks beforehand, and that was happening before I was cast as Charmy. And then like Chris was just like, "This is she's just perfect. You are her." like yeah, and like she's just super fun. Like I get like the 0 to 100 vibes too. And yeah, there's a lot of like little things that I can connect with other characters. I might not be like I'm them 100%, but it might be like there's a lot that I can pick and choose from. Like that's super
personality traits and things like that.
I got a voice acting question. So, it's a two-part question. Have you worked with other voice actors in Funimation? And two, if so, who's your favorite one to work with?
Yes, I have, but most of the time, if we're actually working with them, we're doing it in a Walla session. But otherwise, we do it singular.
Oh man! Really? Have you ever done it? Like, you know, all right, y'all here together. It's like, here's my part, that's your part. Pop out, we done. Let's go get lunch.
It depends on who I'm with, but not always. No, a lot of us tend to have something that we need to go do afterwards.
Okay.
Or we're just like, I want to go home. Bye.
That's pretty surprising because like the chemistry between like all the voice actors and things and all animated always seems like they're right there in the room and they're just like screaming at each other like yeah.
But I can't say I have a favorite. Like it's like I have a really good relationship with so many people that like I couldn't be like this is the one.
No, and I'm not trying to put you on no spot like that. It's like like I like working like with Chad here.
Yeah, I get so excited every time I see a bunch of my friends' names on the cast list. So.
That's beautiful. So I was like I said, I wouldn't try to cause no trouble and nothing like that. But I was like, man, I wonder who's your favorite, you know?
Look at you stirring up pot.
I know this stirring. This is stirring. I tried. What you got, Chad?
So, could you give us your best, like one of your best auditions and possibly one of your worst auditions? Like things didn't go the way that you maybe wanted it to go?
Like ones where I didn't get the part, or like ones where like I do a different voice than the one.
Well, no, like let's say, you can say one where like, let's say you're going for an audition and you know you put everything into it and you're just like, wait, this isn't going the way I want it to go.
I can't really think of many.
Because you're good.
No,
Okay,
it's
no
not
problem.
so much that. It's whenever I audition for something, I tend to go for things that are within my range and like my capabilities. Like I'm not gonna try to go for like the very like womanly looking women because there's no way. There's no way that my voice fits into that because I cannot go that low. And I know they're looking for the sultry kind of voice. I'm like I can't. That's my range just can't get down there.
Okay. What's one of your best auditions?
Probably I have harder with the commercials, I would say. Like I'm still trying to get better at those, but yeah, those ones are pretty rough because I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Do you have an audition where you went in there and you're like, I absolutely killed this, the part is mine?
It's hard to say. I probably felt that way with maybe Cherry Blossom Cookie. It's like she's the one that I went in. It's for the game Cookie Run Kingdom.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, there's been with that one I was like, this is my cookie. This is my cookie. I will not let anybody have her. I don't know why, but like I started like that is mine. She is mine. And if I don't have her, they're wrong.
Okay.
Otherwise than that, like I can't really think of one where I'm like I killed it because there's a lot of times where I just feel awkward with an audition. I'm like that could go right anywhere.
Either way.
I heard like Harry Spears on the podcast just like the other day saying something like that. Like when it comes to auditions, you be like this. Oh, I got bills to pay. I got this. I got that. All that auditioning process is such a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
So you go through that anxiety when you do auditions?
Oh, all of us do. All of us are I mean, like, you're vulnerable. You're putting yourself out there,
yes,
you know?
Yeah.
And, like, you're just hoping that you don't sound like an idiot, you know? Especially if you're throwing out to somebody that you don't know very well.
Right.
Or something that you want to be a part of really badly of, like, gosh, I hope this looks professional and sounds all right, or at least, like, gets me in there to do a spoon or something.
You're blocking that. You see nothing at all.
So you like these cons, man? Like, what you like about the cons? I know you done probably a bunch of them and everything like that.
So, like, right now, I love seeing all the different powers and people who are cosplayed as characters I do. But obviously, getting able to like meet all kinds of new people and geek out with others.
That is a pretty cool thing about the cons. Like when we started going, that's what we started kind of getting into it for and doing this whole podcast thing for, to talk to like-minded people. We got one more question before you go.
We'll sign out.
Yeah. So
we got money to make.
Okay. So what do you want as far as like all the characters you play and things like that? Like what's one thing you want to tell your fans and the people that kind of watch you? Like you say, you see all the different powers and the charmies and the people running around. Like, what do you want to tell them?
Thank you so much for your support, and I'm glad that my work reaches you in such a way that you feel compelled to come say hello to me. You guys are amazing, and I'm glad that we're sharing the same universe right now, because Chainsaw Man's really amazing, and so is anime just in general. And I'm really glad that none of us are getting beat up for it right now, because
it's our time now.
We're in a good time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Be blessed.
Absolutely. Well, Sarah, thank you so much for doing this with us. We really appreciate it. Tell the people where they can find you and things like that on social media.
On Twitter, I'm Sarah Wiedenheft, and on Instagram, Cryptic Mink. I also have an artist account, which is under Swedish, SWIEDISH, and the irony is I'm not Swedish, I'm Danish. But it's my first and last name. And you can find my artist profiles on all of those. Sometimes I do Twitch under Swedish, but I've been pretty hiatus right now because the conventions have been taking up this whole year, and I've just been couch potato.
Okay, well, Sarah, thank you so much again for doing this with us. We truly appreciate it.
And also, don't forget, thank you, Galaxycon, for giving us this opportunity.
Yeah, thank you, Galaxycon, so much. We really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
I know, right? I can make some money, y'all.
All right, man. Well, I'm Chad.
And I'm Jeremy, and this is Sarah.
Yay. This Fusion-Haa, we're out this thing.
Thank you again.
Hello, douchebags and douchebagettes. It's the Fusion-Haa, the podcast, featuring Chad and Jeremy, two guys who really made it. What do they talk about now? I don't know. Something. Will it be video games? Will it be bumblebees? Insectoids? Living bodily fluids? If you're still listening, you made it past the 20-minute mark. Congratulate yourself. You officially have nothing else better to do.
All right, this is Chad, one half of the Fusion-Haa podcast. Man, we're about to conduct a very special interview. We are at Galaxycon, man. So, who am I speaking with right now?
How's it going? I'm Jason Moody, creator of Gabriel and the Guardians.
Man, so I was at the panel last night, and man, I was so impressed, man. I really was. I really enjoyed what we saw. So if you could, just tell us a bit about yourself and what led you to create Gabriel and the Guardians.
Yeah, that's a good question. So, I mean, I think a lot of people can probably relate to what happened during COVID. Everything got shut down.
Okay.
We all probably had a lot of time on our hands.
A lot, unfortunately.
And I had been working for 15 years as a media developer at JP Morgan Chase.
Okay.
And when that all kind of happened. My wife and I were honestly doing a Bible study on Genesis, and I was just fascinated by it. I hit this verse, Genesis 6, that said, in those days, giants walked the earth. In Genesis. And and I was fascinated by that, and it said that they were the offspring of fallen angels.
Wow.
And so I was like, this is amazing. How did I never hear this in Sunday school? And so the story kind of came out of that.
Okay. Yeah. Wow, that's some great inspiration there.
Yeah.
Man, so during the panel yesterday, when you were kind of announcing the voice actors, you have some heavy hitters.
True.
I mean, Johnny Young Bosch, he plays Ichigo from Bleach.
Yep.
James Arnold Taylor, freaking Obi-Wan. Wow. And Matt London, he plays Anakin.
Yep.
So, what led you to choose them as your voice actors?
Yeah, that's a good question. So
Other than them being awesome, of course.
So Trigun's one of my favorite animes of all time.
Oh, man, great anime.
Johnny's Vash the Stampede. And so quite a few years ago, I was doing the art for a manga that was intended to basically raise awareness for human trafficking.
Okay.
And so Johnny got involved with that, and so I met him through that. So then now years later, when we were doing this, I had his contact. I reached out to him, told him about my show, and he really loved it. And so then, oddly enough, James is a really interesting connection because one of the people that kind of first came on and helped back this show, he is the business manager for 21 Pilots.
Oh,
and
really?
So he had a connection that he put me in. There was a band back in the 90s called Jars of Clay. The lead singer, Jars of Clay, I met him through this guy, and he said, I got a neighbor who does cartoon voices. Could I tell him about your show? And I was like, sure. And that neighbor was James Arnold Taylor.
Wow, that's a heck of a neighbor.
Yeah.
Okay.
So and then of course James introduced us to Matt.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow. Okay, so tell us a bit about what Gabriel and the Guardians is about.
Yeah, so basically it's inspired by Hebrew lore. It's a fantasy story, but it's inspired by Hebrew lore, culture, mythology, and then the story really is kind of extrapolating out of Genesis, right? It's taking some of the main themes of redemption, what happens when you take into your own hand. There's a verse that says, Adam then took the fruit into his own hands. He took knowledge for himself. What happens when we pursue knowledge to the point of being cursed? And so some of these themes that you find in Genesis are really interesting and really deep. And so we want to bring those themes in, but put them into this fantasy kind of story, kind of almost as if like Lord of the Rings, right? Inspired by Norse, Celtic, ancient European mythology, right? We wanted to do the same thing. What if you had a fantasy story that instead was inspired by the Mesopotamian cultures, like the Assyrians and the Sumerians, and of course the Hebrews?
Okay. Wow, man, I cannot wait for this. So I'm looking at the poster here, and we have a character here, a young lady with purple hair here. We haven't really seen too much of that. So could you tell us about her?
Yeah. So we've got three characters. That's Nemea.
Nemea. Okay.
She is actually a princess of a culture called Kayanara. It's really inspired by the Sumerian culture, and basically she worships the gods that are actually the Chaos Giants. Our other character, who Matt Niantar is playing, Nock, he's trying. You heard in the panel. His main thing is to kill the giants. But because he doesn't think of them as gods, and so you've got conflict there. And then in the midst of it, you get Gabriel, who is actually a celestial being from a completely different realm, who shows up in this mortal world, and they're trying to all get back this eternal seed that basically is like a weapon of mass destruction on the planet that a giant went into the unseen realm and stole and brought it back to the mortal realm. And so that's what they're all trying to get and trying to retrieve, because it's going to destroy the world if they don't.
This is deep, y'all. Man, this is really deep, man. I like this.
It's very mythic.
Yeah. So, what do you want your cartoon, your comic you have coming out, what do you want it to relate to the people? When people watch this, what's the message that you want to send to the people?
Yeah, so I think we've got two major themes. One theme is, are you a hero? And what does it take to be that? What do you actually have to do? Like, we aren't just heroes. It's actually by our actions, right?
Yeah.
That's That's what defines us, what we do. And then the other theme is find your identity and seize your destiny. And how are those things tied together? What does it mean to discover who you truly are, and how that discovery determines your course, right? The thing that you might pursue, your purpose. So those are the themes of the show.
I can't wait. Oh my gosh.
And there's a ton of action and adventure, and I mean, it's like, it's this, we keep on saying it's kind of like Chronicles of Narnia meets Dragon Ball Z.
Oh yeah, so that's a good question. So I was gonna ask, what animes inspired or kind of gave you inspiration to create this?
Yeah, so obviously, Trigon is huge, but Dragon Ball, I'm not gonna, look, I know they get some heat, but I was a huge Dragon Ball fan, and
you can't hate on Dragon Ball.
I tuned back in for Super. I watched all of Super.
Thanks. See, you're a man of culture, man. It's Dragon Ball. You can't hate. Dragon Ball is like the grandfather of anime, man. Like, you can't hate on it.
I love it. I love Goku. In fact, Goku is one of the characters that I think really inspires Gabriel. Like, the character of Goku, just endlessly optimistic. He's not looking for a fight because he hates anybody, right? In fact, he gets excited to fight with people because he just wants to know them, and so this optimism, right? So I think I said before, Gabriel really, at his core, it's like he's a mix between. Sorry, confused. He's a mix between Rocky Balboa, right?
Oh, Rocky Balboa.
Yeah, so he's got this thing of like never give up, right?
Yeah.
He'll take a beating. He will take a beating and he will keep on going, right?
Okay.
So you've got Rocky Balboa, you've got Goku, you've got, and I think I said before, actually a little bit of that Buddy the Elf. This kind of
Buddy the Elf.
I know, it's so funny. Imagine if you take.
I can't get over that.
Imagine if you take Goku, Rocky, Aang, and Buddy the Elf and mix them into a character, and I think that's Gabriel, because he's innocent and he is just endlessly assuming the best in people.
Okay. So I saw one of your signs here, which I can't really see it now.
Yeah.
You said this is a crowd-owned anime series.
Yeah.
Can you kind of elaborate on that?
Yeah, so we've partnered with Angel Studios, who their model is actually to invite fans and invite people to come in and be a part of the show.
Okay.
And so they've done things with their other shows, like The Chosen, where you support it, but it's not like a Kickstarter. You're actually earning shares in the property. So you actually are investing into the show. And so if that show's successful, you make money.
Wow.
You participate in some of the merchandising and in the shares of the show, and so the profits.
That's unique.
So we're doing that same thing because we really think that anime ought to be. I mean, it is so connected to fans.
Yes.
The anime fandom. It's about time that fans can get in on this thing.
Yeah.
Right. So that's it.
Okay. Wow. So can you give us a kind of an ETA on when this is going to arrive for the people?
Yeah. So our manga is supposed to release this coming year in 2024.
Okay.
We're going to do a manga that kind of follows a series, but we're putting it out just before.
Okay.
And then in early 2025, the first season of Gabriel and the Guardians will drop.
Okay. Perfect. And of course, you probably can't tell us where this is going to be at yet, right?
Yeah. Well, so it'll definitely be on, you can find Angel's platform, Angel Studios, they're on Roku. You can get them on your phone. I mean, they're all over the place, and you can watch it through that on your TV. But we are talking to a couple other potential platforms that are interested in our show that are specifically anime platforms, streaming platforms.
Okay, perfect, man. So thank you so much for your time. We truly appreciate it. Just tell the people where they can find you, where they can reach you.
Yeah, so if you go to GabrielandTheGuardians.com or if you go to angel.com/guardians, you can learn more about the show.
Okay, perfect. And then, is there anything else you want to say before we wrap up?
You can find us on Instagram, and you can find us on Facebook and Twitter, all the things.
Oh, and one last thing. Could you tell the people the slogan for this show?
Yeah. Never be shaken, never fall.
Never be shaken, never fall, guys, man. This is the Fusion-Haa podcast, and we're out this thing. Ha!
Long ago, the world of Aura descended into chaos, and paradise was lost. Fear ruled the world, and hope faded to myth. Mortals roamed the waste, hopelessly searching for purpose. And that brings us to me, a celestial guardian, sent as a light piercing the darkness. My name is Gabriel.
Hey, hot stuff. This is Granny from Squidbillies. I like you listening to Fusion-Haa, but if you want to come and mind me, I'll give you a Fusion-Haa, if you know what I mean. Now, I'm going to say two things about Chad and Jeremy. Chad's a little handsy, but Jeremy's a very gentle, giving lover. Not like that Chad, real stingy. Oh well, I don't know what they're talking about, but they sure give a good lap dance.
Fusion fam, what's up?
Yo!
Man, we have a very special guest in the building. Man, I'm gonna read off some of these credits. Oh my God. So first off, this is the OG Vegeta.
OG!
Oh my God, oh my God.
I'm actually geeking out right now, man.
He is Dr. Eggman of Sonic Prime.
That's right.
He is Ryuk from Death Note.
That's right.
He's been in Little Big Planet. He's been in various Lego franchises. Man, awesome by the way. Oh
Lego.
my God.
Oh,
You've been in Inuyasha, Black Lagoon. Man, you've been in Sonic Underground. What haven't you done? What haven't you done?
I don't know. I've been around a long time. I've done a few things. I've done a lot.
Man, this is Brian Drummond.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
Baddest Vegeta in the land. I don't care, man. You're my favorite, man.
When kicking Kakarot around was good times.
Good times indeed. And if you don't know who we are, this podcast, this tag team, this collective, we are Fusion-Haa. All right, so first, Brian, thank you so much for doing this with us.
Yes.
Really,
No problem.
we really appreciate it.
Yeah.
So,
You're all on.
oh man, time to go to work. All right, so first and foremost, Brian, can you tell us a little bit about your childhood growing up and kind of what led you to get into voice acting?
Wow, yeah, voice acting is different. I don't think I ever decided that's what I wanted to do. I had a very, very different upbringing. Grew up on a thoroughbred racehorse ranch in the interior of the province of British Columbia, which is west coast of Canada. But in high school, I kind of fell in love with drama. Did a few plays with some friends, and I was encouraged to audition for a really big theater school in the big city where I'm near, called Vancouver, British Columbia. Got into this great theater school, graduated from that program, thought I was going to do theater and film and Broadway, and I was doing stage, and I was doing some film, and then I came across some voice auditions. Your agent always sends you out for all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
One of my first auditions was for a show called Reboot, done by Mainframe.
Oh my God.
I did not get the part. But you know what? With failure, like Vegeta, you get stronger, you try again. And my next audition was for a series called G.I. Joe Extreme, and I landed one of the leads. Right after that was Vegeta on Dragon Ball Z. So, and then I was doing a little bit of film, theater, voice for about 5, 6, 7 years, and voice got so busy. By about 2000, year 2000, I was only doing voices, and I gave up theater and film and said, you know what, it's going to be voices. It's just taking up every hour of the weeks, and that's what I'm going to have to do. Yeah, that's life story in a snapshot.
Yeah, you pretty much did, man. So what's your favorite voice that you like doing, like all the animation you've done over the years?
Wow, that's, you know what, a lot of people ask, they might think it'd be Ryuk from Death Note or Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z, which are great. They're iconic characters, but I grew up really enjoying Wolverine in the comics, and I got a chance to play him in 5 different features, motion comic features that were just phenomenal. And when you get to voice something that as a kid you thought was the coolest X-Men ever, that was sort of the pinnacle for me. I'm like, I am Wolverine. And when you get to do that.
Nice.
That was one of the best. That was one of the best.
So what's drawn you into Wolverine? Why do you like him so much?
You know, I don't know. I think because I already naturally have kind of a snarly rasp a bit to my voice and some depth to it. But I've always liked kind of the anti-heroes a little bit. Like Vegeta's a lot like that, and Knuckles in Sonic Underground. He's a bit of the anti-hero too. They just have a bit of they do heroic things, but they got a bit of a badass edge to them. They're always fun to play. They're always, fun to read. They get great writing. So I think that's probably what draws me to those characters.
Okay. So how was the audition process and actually becoming Vegeta in Dragon Ball?
That's a good question. I mean, I didn't know much about the show at all. We're talking mid-90s. There's not a lot of anime on TV. I'm sent this audition for this strange series, and we didn't even see pictures of the characters as far as I remember. He's described as he's an alien.
Okay.
He's a prince. He's egotistical. He's a killer. He's badass. He's got a planet named after him. So, but when you put and he's diminutive in size, but extremely powerful.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't know what to do. But when it said he was smaller but strong, I wanted to pitch his voice a little higher, and then I also wanted to make him sound sort of cocky and arrogant because he was a prince. So that's where I was like, Kakarot, you clown! I wanted to give him a feeling of being above it all. And that's where that sort of vibe came from for the OG Vegeta.
I'm digging out right now. Just did all that. I swear. But it was crazy, man. You played Knuckles, right?
Yeah.
How did you prepare for that role for Sonic Underground?
Yeah, that's a really different one because I'd worked with Sue Blue, a great director who had done a ton of animation. She directed Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, piles of stuff. I worked with her on Beast Machines and G.I. Joe Extreme, and she was directing the Sonic Underground series. I didn't know much about that either. There wasn't a lot of animated Sonic stuff on TV. This was the late 90s. The game was out there, but I wasn't playing it. I was working as a performer, so I didn't know much about it. And they told me he's an echidna. What's an echidna? I don't know what an echidna is.
I thought that was a made-up animal for the longest time.
Yeah, me too. I was like,
I ain't got Google now.
There wasn't even Google then. I probably went to the library, flipping through books.
Go to the encyclopedia.
Some random animal from Australia. Okay, it's an echidna, but he's kind of like a weird hedgehog. Anyhow, so all I knew, same with him, kind of like the others, was he's got a bit of attitude, and it was a little different on that show. Jaleel White, everybody, Steve Urkel, great character. He played Sonic and Manic and Sonya. They pitched his voice for the character Sonya, so his was quite higher pitched in tone. So we made Knuckles same. He was kind of higher, like Sonic, what are you doing? Give me the Chaos Crystal. Whereas now, of course, Idris Elba's playing him, and he's deep and tough and cool. And, I was like, how come I didn't get super cool deep Sonic?
I've been doing deep voices for a while.
Exactly. But preparation usually just based on the character description they give you, and you come up with an idea, and then they choose you or they don't, right?
Okay. Yeah. So my wife is standing in front of me, and I have to ask this. So she's a huge Death Note fan, and so am I. So Ryuk. How was that audition process going? I have another follow-up question.
That's probably the most unique audition process because we were sent sides for the characters we were going to audition for. I was not sent the sides for Ryuk. I was sent like Lightstad, some of the other detectives. I might have even read for L. I can't even remember. But when I went to the audition in the studio, they had pictures of the characters up, but we weren't sent the pictures. So I saw these pictures. Oh, there's Lightstad. There's these guys, and I'm like, whoa, who's the demon? Like, who's the freaky looking face demon? How come I'm not getting to audition for him? So I asked the director, can I audition for that guy? He's freaking cool. And they said, sure. Take 5 minutes, and you can read him with your other characters as well. But remember, he's not a bad guy. He's not the villain, and he kind of has a funny laugh. So he looked like this creepy, shriveled up smoker face skull. So that's where I kind of gave him the laugh, and then gave him more of a raspy voice because I thought he looked sort of like a old smoker face, with his teeth and white face and and the laugh. And I didn't get any other roles I auditioned for, but I got Ryuk. So what more could you ask for, right?
Oh man,
fun role.
I love Ryuk. So, speaking of talking about Death Note, do you feel what Light did in the anime and in the TV show was the right thing to do? as being his right-hand man, Ryuk?
Oh, Ryuk is no one's right-hand man. No. He was a bored death god, just willing to watch what happened. Light happened to be the first one to touch the Death Note, but he was by no means his right-hand man. But I think that, interestingly enough, as you'd think he would never be someone that would get attached to anyone, I played it as though he did start to form some attachment to Light. I don't think he wanted to write his name in the book when he died at the end, but deep down he always knew he would be the one to do it. Right? It wasn't going to be someone else. It was going to be him. Right. And he probably didn't want to when the time came, but he did. And I think he was surprised by some of the stuff Light did, but that was partly why he went to Earth, because he was a bored death god and he wanted to see what do these crazy humans do. And he found one that he didn't think it was crazy, but he went off the rails.
He provided a lot of excitement.
He provided a lot of entertainment.
And got Ryuk addicted to apples.
Exactly.
What I would say, first of all, we met you last year at CommanderCon.
Yeah.
Thank you. First and foremost, man, you a cool guy. Like, you just chill out, cool dude. You could have told us, hell no. That was the end of the day. Day 2 CommanderCon, you could have been like, beat it, kid. I'll catch you tomorrow. But now, you're like, all right, look, I'll take this cash. Come on back. And you ain't had to. And I appreciate the sound like we might throw that in here in the video.
Of course.
But speaking of cons, how do you like them so far, man?
Oh, we love it. It's great to be able to get out and meet the fandom. Well, like I work on shows still now during the week, but especially tends to be when we're at the convention. So many of the fans are for work we did a long time ago, which when you're doing it, it's kind of underappreciated. Like when we were recording Dragon Ball Z, Death Note, you're screaming your guts out. You're working by yourself in most cases with shows that you dub. So you're not, and dubbing doesn't pay that well. It's not great money, but it's still an art form that we work hard at and do quite well at. But it's different to be able to come to a convention and actually see that it really had an effect on people. People who grew up that, I worked out because I saw that Vegeta was always trying to get stronger and get better. So I decided to make my body stronger and better. Or it made me question life and death and wrong and right and morality in watching a show like Death Note. It's made me question, was that right or is that wrong? Or is there kind of a gray area? Everything isn't just black and white. It brings up a lot. It's not just about violence or about action or about fighting. There's a lot of things that we as people already experience during life and grow up questioning or learning about ourselves that we find through anime. And it's nice to we don't know anybody actually learned those things until they might walk up to our table and they go, you know what? It's the first show I watched that made me think this. Or I loved it because these things taught me that. Over and over again, we'll hear them in the con. So it's almost like giving a little fuel to us as performers to kind of light the fire to keep doing more. And that's why I think a big part of why we like doing it over and over.
Another question on top of that. How often do fans ask you, it's over 9,000?
Yeah, we do. I do get asked quite a bit, and I can only blame myself if I'm wearing it on my clothing. I mean, I know, what am I going to do? But it happens, and it's one of the most famous memes in all of anime. There's very few. If you talk to an anime fan, if you said it's over 9,000, you know what that means? They'd be like, I don't know what you're talking about. Most everyone would know.
By the way, it's my ringtone, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
People are going to know, so I get asked a lot. I always try and ask for those who I'm going to do it for. I say, do you know what Nappa said directly before I say the line? And those that are able to, maybe with a little help, get it right, get to hear the line. Who here knows? What did Nappa say? Come on, what did Nappa say?
Vegeta. What's his power level read, Vegeta?
Oh, almost. Hey, Vegeta, what does the scouter say about his power level? Let's go.
Vegeta, what does the power level say?
What does the scouter say about his power level?
Oh, I got it.
Acting is hard.
Yes, it is.
Hey, Vegeta.
Here you go.
Hey, Vegeta, what does the scouter say?
About his power level.
About his power level.
Yes, it's over 9,000. That's what he says.
Childhood.
Oh my God. You know why he did it? Because he's bald.
Yeah, I had to get it.
get it.
I told Jay we should be Vegeta and Nappa for like a cosplay.
Why not?
But
I got the hair.
yeah, I got the head and the thighs for it, man. I can pull it off.
Height in the hair, bro. The height in the hair.
Absolutely, absolutely, man.
So Brian, I'm also going through your IMDb and kind of looking, and you said you were an actor. I saw that you were in an episode of Smallville. Is this true?
Oh, well, yeah, in the early 90s when I was sort of or 92 through 2000, like I said, I was doing voice and TV and stuff. So yeah, I did small stuff on, bit parts on Smallville and Stargate and all the stuff like X-Files was done in Vancouver. All those shows, that there was a lot of sci-fi shot in Vancouver, and I probably did bit parts day or two here or there on all of them. I can't even remember who I was on Smallville. I think I played so many. It was before I had a beard. I played cops, security guards, FBI, SWAT team, all those guys, right? All the time, right? That's true. I was on Smallville.
Yeah. And also, too, I saw that you've been in a lot of Lego shows.
Yes. There, I think, is only, maybe D. Bradley Baker, who's a phenomenal voice actor. He might be the only voice actor that has more characters that are minifig characters that he's voiced than me. It's me. I think I'm number 2, and maybe Vincent Tong might be tied with me, that have voiced the most Lego characters that have their own little minifigs. But I've done a lot. I've done a lot of Ninjago over the years, some Star Wars, a lot of it. Yeah.
So do you assemble Legos?
I haven't assembled one for a while, but I love Lego. We've got some great ones that we've done in the past, but I still have to wait for the right time to do it. But for Christmas, my wife got my favorite movie, which made me want to become an actor, because Michael J. Fox was from the province of British Columbia, where I grew up. He's Canadian, so you can imagine which movie was my favorite. Back to the Future. My wife got me the DeLorean, the full-size DeLorean Lego for Christmas. That was my big Christmas present, one of the really rare ones. It's hard to find, and I haven't. It's still just sitting in the box, looking at me, waiting for me to do it. But it's going to put me together. It's going to get done. It's going to get done. But I love Lego. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Well, Brian, man, thank you so much for doing this for us. Yeah. Man, we really appreciate
Without question, you guys are fabulous to chat with, and I've always enjoyed meeting you. We met KamehamehaCon, and here again, it's a thrill to do it, man. No question about it.
All right, man. Let the people know where they can reach you, find you, hear you.
Well, I need to up my game in my social media thing, but I can be found with the same handle, Brian Drummond VO, as in voiceover, Brian Drummond VO on Twitter and Instagram. My TikTok is non-existent at this point, but at least in those places, you can do it. That's probably because my dancing stinks. Exactly. But that's where you can find me for now. And check out some of the new stuff that's out there. If everyone likes dubbing stuff, you can find me in Dragon Quest Adventures of Dai. I play General Hadlar and Flazzard in that one, two big badasses that are really, really fun characters, and a lot of the same animation team from Dragon Ball Z. So you'll hear lots of hints of old school DBZ type fights coming from me on those shows. And of course, Eggman and Sonic Prime, which is out right now, and Lego Ninjago Dragons Rising is a new one that's out right now, which is fabulous as well. So check it out. Yeah.
Watch it.
I watch these guys. They're fun.
Oh, come on.
Even when we messed up, it's fun, right?
I know, right? Well, Brian, thanks again for doing this. We really appreciate it, but we're going to jump out of here. I am Chad.
And I'm Jeremy.
And this is
Brian Drummond.
And I'm Jeremy.
Oh, man, and we are Fusion-Haa, and we are out this thing. Ha!